This video is going to go over example 9B, 9B, B as in boy. There isn't a video over 9. This example is over 9B. It's a modification of number 9. In this problem, we have gold that we've heated up and we're putting it into a 75 gram sample of water in a calorimeter. First thing you need to talk about is that we're going to set this as Q gold equal to Q. Let me make my markers smaller. Hold on just a second. I thought I had set that up and it did not take. Okay, so we're going to set this to Q gold equal to Q water. One of these is going to be negative because one will release heat to the other. So we look and see that our gold sample is heated to 126 and our water sample starts out at 30. So gold is going to release heat to the water, so it's going to be negative. Now, we don't have a Q or a Q, we have the Q's that equal M, C, and delta T. So we're going to set each Q to each other. That's what I did here. So mass times specific heat times delta T equals mass times specific heat times delta T. All of these are water values and all of these are gold values. We put the negative out here and we put everything in parentheses because this whole side has to be negative. Now I'm going to pull out the information from the paragraph, from the word problem, and substitute in. So here we plugged in, keeping the negative with the parentheses, 2 grams of gold. We know the specific heat of gold, and we know that we have delta T stands for TF minus TI. We don't know TF. TI, we are told the initial temperature of gold is 126.9 degrees Celsius. Close parentheses. So this first is to close that, the TF minus TI. The second parentheses is because we have that negative out there. On this side, we have 75 grams of water. We know the specific heat from our index card that I had you make, which is 4.18 joules over grams degrees Celsius, and then TF minus the temperature of water. So this whole side is all about water. This whole side is all about gold. Next thing we're going to do algebraically, and you can really do the algebra however you wish as long as you do correct algebra. The next thing I'm going to do is multiply these two numbers and multiply these two numbers. Let me show you that in pieces. So I multiplied this times this and I get this value, keeping my negative outside the parentheses still. I'm keeping my units. See, grams cancel because grams is on top and grams is on bottom. Over here, I took 75 grams times 4.18 joules over grams degrees Celsius. I get 314 joules over degrees Celsius because, again, grams canceled. Next, we're going to distribute. Okay, that's what we're going to do next algebraically. I'm going to keep that negative out here till I have to use it. I'm going to keep it out there for a pretty long period of time. So I'm going to distribute this through both pieces. So this times that. And then, again, this times that. And we're going to do that in some pieces here. So the first thing I did is I distributed this times this, and I get that. I'm keeping that negative outside my parentheses. So this times that is T sub F. And 0.258 times 126.9 gets me 3274 joules. Degrees Celsius would have canceled when I distributed that through. Keeping on that side still, we're going to now look at the next piece here. So I distributed, I did this, I'm sorry, I apologize. So I distributed that, and I also distributed this times this down here. So 314 times T sub F, and then 314 times 3050 gives me negative 9577. Not negative, but it's because of the minus there. So both this line right here is the only thing I've done to establish this line is to distribute these through on both sides. And then I distribute that times that, and I got that. Okay, so this is the line I just was talking about. Now I'm going to work to combine like terms. Okay, so I have this negative. First thing I did was distribute it through. So I put this negative through, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive. Okay, so that's this line right here. This side I didn't have to distribute anything, so I just repeated it. Okay, and then looking at this line, I want to start getting like terms together. Notice that on this line, we have a TF and a TF, a non-TF and a non-TF. So I want to get my TFs together, so I'm going to subtract this TF value from both sides. That's what I'm doing here and here. When I do that, I get negative 314.258 joules degrees Celsius T sub F, and this hasn't gone anywhere yet, equals, technically equals this. Oop, grabbed the wrong thing, sorry about that. Technically equals that. I'm going to get that out of the way for just a moment. So that's what that line would be. right? Because after I subtract this, right, this will cancel. This cancels. The only thing I have left on this side is this. Okay. And over here I have the TF and the 32. So then the next, so this is the line I have after I subtract a 314 from both sides. Now I'm going to subtract the non-TF term, the 3274. I have to subtract it because it's being added from both sides. So that's what this is trying to show. Okay, so now I'm subtracting that from that side. When I do that, I get this part right here, right? I get this value. And so the negative 9577 plus a negative 3274 is negative 9610 joules. And then I'm going to divide both sides by the thing that's with the T, because first of all, before I do that, let me remind you that this would go away, leaving me this line right here, okay, above the division. Further math tells me to divide both sides by this, because this goes away. When I divide both sides by that, I get a value of, and I don't have that there, so let me pause. I'll do that and come right back. Okay, so that I get a third, well, let me get that pen working, 30.58 degrees Celsius. So my T sub F, remember these negatives would cancel, joules would cancel, give me degrees Celsius. So that's how you go through that problem algebraically. Watch again if needed. Reach out if you need some help.